Thanks. Do you want to tell us how you got started with Animal Friends?
It's kind of a long, convoluted story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Animal Friends was started in 2001. I used to be a social worker. I have my master's degree in social work, and in 1993, a client came into my office and brutally attacked me. I was on disability for probably 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I was trying to figure out what I can do with my life. And a friend of mine called me in 2001 and told me about this dog named Lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucky lived across the street, and he had been kicked by the owner, and his hip was broken.
Oh, wow.
It was going to cost about $1,300 to have that hip repaired.
Mm-hmm.
And on disability, sorry,
It's okay.
she's going to groom you here in a minute. And being on disability, I couldn't afford that.
Mm-hmm.
So as a social worker, I started agencies all over the state.
Hmm.
So decided, well, let's start something. So we researched several, well, many dozens of animal shelters up and down the coast from Maine to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And we found that Animal Friends in Pittsburgh had kind of mission that we agreed with, which is stopping the unwarranted euthanasia because of health disparities. There's no reason to put an animal down because it's nursing or pregnant or injured or ill.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to do that, and we agreed. So that's how we started Animal Friends, and we were able to gain donations to pay for Lucky's surgery. Well, that's how it all got started, and the shelter was in my home for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So one day I was just kind of up to my eyeballs in cat poop because we had 51 at my house, and my house was not much bigger than this porch. And I asked God for some help. And I said, please, Lord, you've given me this wonderful responsibility that I asked for,
Mm-hmm.
but I need some help. Within the week, Dr. Joe Wren and his wife Robin called me and said, I understand you need an animal shelter. We have this building, which is this building, we'd like to donate to you.
Oh, wow.
So God answered my prayers, and I happened to live on a place where I had room for it, but when the guy came down to see where I was located, he couldn't bring the building down my road.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in a quandary. I have this building, I have no place to put it. So again, I prayed. Within the week, Butch and Margot Neal, who live next door,
Mm-hmm.
called me and said, hey, I hear you need some property. We have about 5 acres. How many do you need? Okay. So God blessed me again. So we were able to get the building on the property. So that was in 2004. We didn't have the resources to get everything done.
Mm-hmm.
So we prayed. And I had church groups from all over the state help me gain the supplies and everything and the donations to get the place built. We were going to the vet one day. I was taking the animals. My van breaks down. I'm like, oh, Lord, you've given me this responsibility. You've given me all these blessings, all this abundance. I'm stuck here. Next day, someone calls and says, hey, I've got this van. Will you guys give me a tax receipt for it? I'll even buy you tires. You're kidding me. So we've been blessed, and I believe this is God's intervention in my life to say, hey, this is what you're supposed to do.
Why would you say to adopt rather than purchasing an animal?
When you adopt an animal, you're saving a life. You're, I can't get more profound than that. You're saving a life. We're all God's creatures. Breeders are reimbursed with your cash, and it encourages them to breed. Any breed has its own rescue, like you want a Yorkie.
Mm-hmm.
I get so many Yorkies in through here, but there's reasons that you get that. If you're going to buy an animal, you're guaranteed to get a little animal.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know the guarantee of its health, even though a breeder will tell you that it's healthy. We get so many stories coming in of breeders who just hoodwinked people. In fact, the poodle in the back is one of those.
Mm-hmm.
When you save a life, you also have there's an unconditional kinds of appreciation from an animal that's been rescued from a pound or a shelter. There's just, I don't know how to explain it to you. There is a sense of you have saved me, and there's that devotion that you really can't get from a pound pup or from a breeder puppy, because they are secure.
Mm-hmm.
Where the animals that have been in the shelter, they've gone through a trauma. And one of those things is your unconditional love they give you their unconditional love, and the both of you grow.